didn't want anyone to have to go through the pain of losing a child.
December of 2010, her image was shared online.
1 in 3 children report being victimized by cyberbullying. And the more you're online, the more likely you are to have negative experiences.
I became concerned.
That's a look at the new documentary Dark Cloud, the high cost of cyberbullying, featuring the story of Amanda Todd. In 2012, Amanda's story made headlines around the world after she took her own life at the age of 15.
Now, Amanda's mom, Carol, spent the next 8 years speaking out about cyberbullying, and she joins us now from Vancouver, along with anti-bullying expert Dr. Wendy Craig, who joins us from Kingston, Ontario. Ladies, good morning. Welcome to you both. And Carol, let's begin with you. And can you give us an idea just how bad was the cyberbullying for your daughter, Amanda?
I think it was, this was all 8 to 10 years ago prior to her death, and before the advent of technology as advanced as it is now. It was bad back then, right? Things that were being said to her, things that were being sent to her, plus the exploitation and sextortion that was happening to her. It was like a kettle boiling over, and unfortunately it did.
Now, Wendy, people assume that Amanda's story is an extreme example of cyberbullying. Is it? And what does most cyberbullying look like these days?
Well, I think, first of all, let's define what cyberbullying is. It's when social media is used to harm or hurt another person, and it's done on purpose. And typically it's repeated, so it's not a one-off event. So in Canada, about 33% of children are affected by it. And so it's a very significant kind of problem. And I think what's happened is that social media just presents an opportunity for children to harm another through bullying, and that's what the real concern is. It's that this is a harmful thing that has lasting effects and tragic effects in Amanda's case.
And Carol, how was speaking out about cyberbullying, how did that help you grieve?
I think it helped me grieve because it made me feel like I was doing something positive in such a tragic circumstance. And so being an educator myself, my whole purpose in my profession and life has been to help others. And this was just another way to channel what I knew, how I felt, and share Amanda's story, because as I said in the documentary, I don't want anyone, any family, any child to have to go through what myself, our family, and Amanda did.
Dr. Craig, parents listening to Carol speak right now can't imagine their kids doing what the kids did to Amanda. Can you help explain what is behind the cruelty and viciousness that these bullies are lashing out with?
Well, I think when you think about at the heart of bullying, it's about power. And children who bully want power, and they're using their power in the most negative way. And it gets more complicated online, because one of the things that happens online is when we engage in aggressive or mean or hurtful behaviors online, we don't actually necessarily see the impact. Sometimes individuals can't read the cues, and so they accelerate and they go even and become more and more cruel. So we're not getting that social feedback. We're not getting that information back. And so many kids may join in because they just don't understand how hurtful it is. And then it becomes a real social process in which they're hurting other children. And so that's the problem with online, is that it challenges us because we don't have the normal cues. And when it happens online, it spreads incredibly fast, and it can be incredibly hurtful, and it's done within seconds. And so online is much more hurtful to children who are victimized. In fact, when you're bullied online, you're even more likely to get depressed, more likely to get anxious than when it happens to you in a face-to-face context.
Sadly, no doubt we have parents watching us right now who are experiencing this, going through this with their kids. Let me ask both of you, and let's start with Carol. What would your number one tip, Carol, be for parents to keep their kids safe from cyberbullies?
I think you have to have open communication within the family, within the parenting and child structure, because and children have to know that it's okay to tell and share what's happening to them to their parents, and that conversation has to start really early so that the trust is there. I say to parents, if someone, if your child comes to you and say if they're the bully, right, we have to deal with it. And if a parent gets reported that their child has done something, then we can't deny everything. Things happen. Kids, I hate to say, but kids are kids and they do things and their brain structures aren't developed enough to deal with everything and handle everything. And so we have to have that open communication. And kids need to know that they can, which adults to trust in their life. It might not be their parents that they tell and share things with. It might be another trusted adult in the school system, in their community structure. But we have to tell kids that it's okay to tell, and we are here to keep them safe.
Yeah. And Dr. Craig, would you add anything to that?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with what Carol said. That it's creating that relationship that enables kids to communicate. But the other part is, as a parent, don't assume kids know how to be safe online. We have to teach them. Remember, kids didn't know how to cross streets safely. We taught them how to do those kinds of things. So when we're first exposing children to being online, we have to teach them, how do you go online safely? What are the things that you need to take into account? What are the things that you need to do to make sure you're safe? How do you, just like we did when they crossed the street. So start early, teach them how to be safe online, and create that relationship that enables you to talk about the kinds of things that they're encountering and the kinds of things that are happening to them online, and unpack it with them.
Dark Cloud, the high cost of cyberbullying, is available on YouTube now. I cannot recommend it enough. It definitely started a number of conversations in my household. Carol, Dr. Craig, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.